Sexton, and today I will be running you through an LBRS speedrun. This run consists of mainly having a priest that soothes most of the targets, and you don't have to kill a lot. In the first room you soothe either 4 or 5 mobs just to get past, and then you continue by running down to the ledge by just pulling and running down. The mobs will reset, so it doesn't matter if you pull them. You can soothe them to make it a bit more smooth, but this patrol, for example, you will always pull, so that doesn't really matter. Remember to stay at the ledge until you are out of combat, otherwise you will chain all the mobs through the instance. The easiest way to know if you're in combat or not is to check your food buff, if you can eat the food or not. Here there are 2 patrols that you have to watch out for, but otherwise just soothe. This mob that I'm targeting inside the tent, if it's a level 56 mob, like now, you can just pass it, but if it's a level 57 mob, you have to soothe it. Here you have to soothe all the mobs, including the sleeping one. At this point, this patrol that we pulled is usually not in this place. We were very fast on this run, so the patrol was here. Usually it has passed, so you won't need to worry about this one. But if you happen to pull it, just kill it normally. Here you can pass without soothing, but I would recommend soothing the left side, and if you want to be very careful, just soothe the right side as well. In this room you only need to soothe the first 2, but again, if you want to be extra careful, you can soothe all 4. And then you walk into the next room and kill the next 3 normally. Remember, when you walk back, you have to remember that you soothed the other pack. A lot of people keep forgetting this and we often pull the pack. Again, it doesn't really matter, it just saves a bit of time. You can just kill the other pack normally as well if you want. Again, when you're going back here, remember to soothe again. You only need to soothe the first 2, but I would recommend soothing all 4, just to be safe. This patrol here you can soothe, but I would recommend just killing it. It will barely save you any time to not kill it, and it's very risky because you have to be very fast. Here you soothe the 2 on the right, and then all 3 on the left. The reason you soothe on the right first is so that the priest can go more on the right to soothe the left ones. And these packs you just kill normally. We end up pulling the pack in the back for some reason. I think it was because we were standing a bit too close, I'm not sure. Usually you don't pull it, but in this case we managed to pull it for some reason. If you do, just try to kill it, otherwise just soulstone your healer if you have. and just keep going normally. At this point you can jump on the candle and then jump up, but you don't really have to jump on the candle, it's just easier from there. Remember here that there are 2 patrols, one of 2 mobs and one of 1 mob that path to here where you are standing. So check behind you before you pull if the patrol is coming and clear the patrol before you pull. Now for this next pull, if you have a mage, it's very important that the mage does the rotation in the correct order. He has to Nova into Flame Strike, into Cone of Cold, into Arcane Explosion spam. This pull I only recommend doing if you have at least 2 casters and one of them being a mage. You can do it with 2 warlocks, but then you have to do stuff with your Voidwalker like AoE taunting and sacrificing it. And you have to kind of ping pong aggro between the warlocks, but the lieutenant also interrupts your hellfire, so you have to try to be out of range, and it's a bit harder with 2 warlocks. But here you can see the mage Novas. You can start hellfiring either right before the mage finishes his flame strike cast, or slightly earlier, or right after. But he used Nova there, he flame striked, he coned, and he just started spamming Arcane Explosion. That's very clean. If he does any other order, for example Cone of Cold first and then Nova, well, his Cone of Cold slow will run out by the time he uses Flame Strike, and he will not be able to kite. Also, if he does Nova into Cone into Flame Strike, the Cone might break some of the Novas and they might run towards the mage, and the Flame Strike will be delayed and it will just be a mess. So the correct order is Nova, Flame Strike, Cone of Cold, Arcane Explosion, and the Warlock can do whatever with his Hellfire. Of course, if you have 3 casters, this pull is very easy, so you don't even have to do it properly. For this pull, I recommend always killing single targeting both the big spiders first. because then you can just AoE right after. If you AoE to begin with, you will use all your mana here, and you will get aggro and it's just a mess. Here I recommend the mage just Novas into Cone of Cold like it does here, and then you just Arcane Explosion. There's no need for Flame Strike because these die so fast. The Warlock can just start Hellfiring as soon as the Nova is down. Just make sure not to be in melee range so you don't get interrupted by the spiders. Again, Nova into Cone of Cold. It is also not worth starting to Hellfire before the mage actually Novas, because otherwise you will get aggro and you will instantly break the Hellfire because the spiders will be on you. Same for this pull. Single target the big ones into AoEing the small ones. Now for this jump there is an easy way, it doesn't really matter, you can do it however you want, it will just take slightly more time. There is a way to do it constantly every time. If you hold your W key and you jump, and the second you jump you let go of your W key, it will stop you on the edge and you will always get up. Here you want to clear both of the packs because you need to go into the right hand side later for Omokk. This is just a normal AoE pull, doesn't really matter how you do it, but I would recommend doing it the same way as we did the Pyromancer pull with Nova into Flame Strike into Cone into Arcane Explosion. I recommend also using Voidwalker here. You can just AoE taunt and you can instantly start Hellfiring while the Voidwalker has aggro, and then when you feel like the Voidwalker is about to lose aggro, you sacrifice it. Now for this next pull, you have to be full mana. Everyone has to be full mana. The way you do this is you sheep the summoner, and you will not touch the summoner for the rest of the dungeon until you have killed Omokk. You'll be using the summoner to mind control it and summon the bosses. Now the bosses do not pull any extra trash if you summon them. So that's why this method is very good and very fast for speedruns. If you have a mage, you want to sheep it. If you don't have a mage, if you only have a warlock, you can still do it, but it will be with a succubus and you have to charm it. Now you can't keep the charm up 24/7 because you can't start a new cast while the previous cast is up, so you will have downtime on the charm for a couple seconds, but that's fine. Just make sure the healer heals your pet if it's about to die, but you can do the same thing with charm. Of course, it's easiest with a mage. So here we pull, and the mage starts with sheeping the summoner. Now when these mobs are dead, you want to break the sheep and mind control. I do recommend either stunning or counterspelling the summoner right before you break the sheep, just so it doesn't use its summon right away, because then you have to wait another 10 or 15 seconds for the cooldown on the summon. And here we had a perfect break, just as the priest mind controlled. Here you see him teleporting it. We release the summoner and we sheep it again. We want to keep it sheeped because you want to use the summoner to summon Omokk as well. At this point you either want the tank to taunt it and break the sheep, or you can just break it, doesn't really matter who has aggro. Here the tank does break it, he taunts it, and we all run towards the first cave where the scarabs were. Again, when the summoner comes, I do recommend either stunning or counterspelling it before it does the summon, like the druid does here. He stuns it, and he can mind control, and at that point the summoner does not waste its summon cooldown. So Omokk is down there, as you could see. The priest mind controls, and you can summon Omokk right from here. You can either kill the summoner at this point, or you could sheep it again and kill Omokk first and then kill the summoner. I think we cleave it down here, but it doesn't really matter what you do at this point because you are done with the summoner. If you enjoyed this walkthrough, please do subscribe, and you can find me on Twitch on twitch.tv/xten, same as my in-game name. Hopefully I will make a couple more guides, and I'll see you in the next one.